from this service right into where we needed to go, and today she's going, it's not doing it. So we had her to talk to our system and go to where it was supposed to go in the first place. But okay, I think I have one hand up that it's on. Beth, it's on. So take a deep breath back there. No pressure on you anymore. None of us are looking at you. So if Heidi, if I can just kind of assign you that task of checking every so often to make sure we're still on, and Jared, if I can ask you to kind of count, ask people, will somebody ask someone to log in so we know how many people are out there, and put, Jared's got it, and Carrie have got it covered too. So at 9:45, I will call the meeting to order and declare that we are establishing a quorum at this point. So if we can we have 45 members within sitting here in attendance right now. And so we just need to guarantee there are 5 more online that would take us to the 50 needed to be a quorum today. So I think potentially one of the handheld mics are on. So whoever's got the handheld mics, will you make sure they're off or muted at this point? For those of you that are watching online, if you are able to hear us at this point, will you please respond in the comments with who is in your presence, how many voting members are there with you, and your names, please? Does everyone have a booklet? Does anyone need a booklet at this point? There were some changes made to the booklet. You'll notice they're in yellow when we once we get started. You'll notice up on the screen that there have been some changes to the booklet, just some small errors that were found in transporting numbers and that kind of thing. So I'll try to highlight those as we go through. Jared, any response yet? Are you guys on the site that we were on this morning? The one? Okay. Beth. And Randy, is there anybody that has notified us that they are there? Okay. Okay. Okay, so the 3 viewers that are on YouTube watching the service, if you will identify yourselves as members in the comment. Is it possible to put a message on Facebook? No, yeah, okay. They can or can't? Okay, I am going to establish this as a quorum because we do have 7 people already online and expecting more to join us there, so I will just declare that we have a quorum present. Yay. God keeps sending this word presence to me. He just continually, all week, be in the presence of my Lord. And I walk up here today, and guess what's on that sign? The word presence. And so I know God is in this room. I know God is helping us today. I have such, he continues to send me signs that his presence is here with us. And so amen to you, Lord. I'm going to go, I did call it to order, and we have declared a quorum. If you'll go ahead and take your booklet and look at the annual meeting minutes from last year. So I will entertain a motion to approve them if there are no additions or corrections to them. Kelly, I was going to do it wrong again. Sorry. Kelly has made a motion to approve. May I have a second, please? Vic Sanderson has made a second. Any other discussion on the minutes from last year? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. I am seeing John wave the microphone back there, so I just want to remind everybody, if you would like to make comments today, if you will let us know first, and we'll get a microphone to you so those that are participating online are also able to hear what you're saying. So if you'll just raise your hand, we'll get you a microphone, and then we can move forward from there. So our next piece of on the agenda is the treasurer's report. So if you will go ahead and move to that. Pointing out again, there are some yellow on here, so if you will go ahead and correct that on your booklet. The total transfer incomes there at the bottom. Did anybody bring a pointer today? I apologize, I was hoping to have that, but if you notice, oh, Bess got it for me, right here at the bottom, change that in your booklet to $40,646.81 on this page, and I'll highlight them as we go through. $40,646.81. Now, I just want to briefly go through this page for you. Everything that we do basically starts in the general fund. It's put into one deposit, and then from there, funds are dispersed out to the other accounts. When we're accounting, if you take a look at that page, we have Christmas offerings, Advent offerings, Easter offerings, supper, Lenten suppers. The reason we started doing those separate accounts was so that individuals, we had designated those funds to certain projects as they came up, knowing full well that that's just a documentation, that in actuality they are all in the general fund. We're just able to identify them when the need arises and say, okay, the Christmas offering we're going to give to the food basket because right now they're in high need. So it's just a documentation, but you'll notice that it's also, within those, it's all in the general fund. It's just documented kind of in your checkbook that this is your electricity bill. This is our advent. So just wanted to explain that to you. If you keep going down on the left-hand column there to gifts to be transferred, we received a very generous amount this year. And then there was another smaller gift that was given that was directed towards the endowment. So that's $17,618.91 that's listed there at the bottom. That went directly to the endowment. It was funds put into the account, but then directly transferred back out to a different account. The benevolence fund offering there at the bottom was the dollar amount that we set aside to be sent to the Senate or to local benevolence. So when the dollar amount comes in, it is then broken into different categories that we guarantee that we have money in those according to the budget to make sure we have funds in there so that we can have enough there by the end of the year. So if you go ahead and transfer over to the right-hand side there, the ones that say benevolence and capital outlay from endowment, that, let me go down one more. So if you come down 5 lines there where it says endowment proceeds, that is the full amount of the proceeds that came from our endowment fund this year. Within those funds, then we channel them back out again. So the $26,000 came in, but monies went back to the benevolence fund. So we do most of our local activities out of that fund, bread basket, Boys and Girls Club, those types of activities. That comes out of that. And then the capital outlay, we used $8,000 of that $26,000 this year for capital improvement projects. Any questions on that? And then go down, children's offering, that's the little church that is up here. The roof fund, that was the wonderful donations that we received this year to cover the expense of this roof. And so our total income is $293,853. You can see that in the corner there. Keep in mind that there is $40,000 of that is repeat money because it went to specific accounts. So in actuality, our income was $253,000 if you separate that $40,000 out that is transferred. Okay, let's go to the second screen then if we're ready. So these are our expenses for the year. The one thing I do want to highlight here is under custodial. Huge thank you to Randy and to Bridget and to Lisa and Todd. Lisa and Todd all summer will come in and make our lawn look beautiful. Randy is here several times a week making our church look beautiful. We have Blake that comes in and does snow removal. Ramstills do the parking lot cleanup. We have a lot of people that come in and contribute to us being able to keep that as a zero right now. And thank you to all of you for making that happen, that we don't have an expense for cleaning and taking care of our property. Going down a little bit further, you can see postage. You know you've gotten stuff from us, and we are able to keep that at a very low expenditure just because we have huge donations in our postage. We'll end up with a roll of stamps in our box quite often here, and so we thank those individuals that help out there. I'm not going to highlight any other things on that slide. If you go ahead and look down that page a little bit further, to the very bottom, you'll notice, go to the next slide, Beth, if you would. Okay, right here. If you'll notice, there's another yellow right there in the bottom for total property management. That was $26,115.96 under the total property expense for this year. $26,115.96, just to highlight that for you. It's on, yeah, page 6. The one thing I do want to bring to your attention is under benevolence, under the ELC Senate benevolence, we had originally budgeted $12,500 to go to the South Dakota Senate for projects within, and we, as a council, when our funds were at their lowest, did not feel like we had the adequate funds to send that full amount. So this year we sent $8,250 to the ELCA Senate in Sioux Falls. Page 7. And then just to highlight under capital outlay, that expense of $25,000, that was to put the windows in the education unit, and that was for Poulters to shingle the roof on the parsonage. Those were 2 expenses we didn't plan for that came up very suddenly after. We had planned for the windows, we hadn't planned for the parsonage. That was based on insurance and a leakage that we had started up there, that roof needed to be done. Any questions on that slide, if you can see them? I apologize, they're very hard to see, but. Okay, so if you look to the very bottom of page, I don't have a booklet up here, 7, you guys, right? Yeah. So you'll see some more yellow on the screen here. We had an additional transfer that was under gifts to be transferred of $326.54. And for those of you that want the numbers, I can give those to you afterwards too. If I'm holding this up too long, I can give you the actual numbers. But the full dollar amount for transfer was $17,818.45, which then if you look at, yep, right there, our transfer account for expenses was $40,846.35. Again, that is money that was put in here on 2 different places. So it came into the endowment, then it went out of the endowment, and then it went into another account for expense. So that's what a transfer of an expense is. So if you would take the $40,846 off of there, we're about $252,000 as far as expenses this year. So, any questions on those 2 sheets? So if you go ahead and look at our account balance, Kelly, what page is that on? Page 8. Okay, so these are, if you have 2 comparisons there. One is on 23, is on 2023, and then your other column is 2024 of what, so you can do a comparison of what it cost us a year ago to what it cost this year for the expenses. About 10 lines down, you can notice that our general fund as of the 31st of December, we were $3,973 in the red. So in other words, our expenses for December and all last year, we exceeded our income, which put us in the red at the end of the year. And I do have to thank everyone that so generously gave in December. That helped us out tremendously. When we started, when we were December 1, we were actually about $14,000 in the red because of expenses that had just continued to occur throughout the year. And so we had several very generous donations here at the end of the year that helped us bring us to be $4,000 in debt. So please think about that as we look forward and start thinking at the budget at the end of of this session. So if you, one other thing I want to highlight, if you go down to this, after the first bold, to the ELCA Foundation, that is our endowment. Keep in mind that we had the regular income from the endowment, and then we also had that $17,000 that was donated toward the endowment for us. And so as of December 31st, we were $707,045 is the value of our endowment at this point. Keep in mind that's very volatile right now. At one point in December, we were at 720,000, and by the end of the month, we were at 707,000. So just know that that number will rotate with the stock market. So I can look today, and it's probably a way different number than that 707,000. But as a baseline for the end of the year, that's where our number is at. So any questions on our assets at this point? Okay, with all that said, I will entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report for 2024. Larry has made the motion. I will take a second. John has seconded it. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. John, you willing? I'm sorry. For those of you that are watching online, if you do have a comment or a question, go ahead and put that in the comments or call someone within the room, not my phone, but someone within the room, and we can put that over a microphone too. Okay. Next on our agenda is our council reports. And I can only, I just want to say a couple things off of my report. The presence of God is in this building all over. And the day that we counted funds after the quilt sales and my three little girls were helping count, I tell you what, the presence of God was at that table. I mean, the laughter and the joy was outstanding. When we come on Tuesday mornings, for those of you that miss out, and there's 10 of us at the table when it's, 7 below, 8 below the other day, and you're all here, the presence of the Lord is here, you guys. And every opportunity that you can get involved in stuff at this church, it grows on you. It's a whole different feeling when 2 or more of us are together and we're sharing God's word and we're doing God's work. And so join us. Be here. Be in the presence of the Lord. Share the presence out in the community. What a difference that has. The one thing I did put in there that I would also like to highlight from my letter is, what's your church goal? As this year rolls on, what's your church goal? What do you want to do with your church? And what do you want to do with the Lord within our church and our community? And how as a church can we help with that goal? Please, if there's a need that you see or a way that we can serve that God has talked to you about, bring that forward to us. And as a church, we're going to jump on board and help with that and do everything we can to continue to do his work. I'm going to, since it's in the order of the booklet, I'm going to ask Heidi Johnson to come up and do an education. Oh, hold on, I'm ahead of myself. We'll wait with that. Just some of the great things that we're doing, Pastor mentioned that in her sermon already today. I'm not going to go into a lot of details as far as the rest of the committee reports, but if you have questions, I will honor them at this point. If there was anything you read that you have questions about for the committee reports. WELCA has been very active this year, everything from quilting on through serving funerals, on through all the activities that WELCA does within this church. And so I want to their involvement too. The endowment is on a committee basis, and if you're ever would like to participate with the endowment, please let us know. We do have a presence with Bethel and Madison, as we are owners to that organization too. So again, if you've got any questions about those committee reports or organizations that we participate in, please let us know. At this time, I do not have any old business. Unless someone else out there has an old business item they'd like to bring forward. Okay, under new business, I would ask Heidi Johnson from the Education Committee to do a report at this point.
Good morning. One attention I draw is on our committee report, there was a typo. It should start by saying January 2024, not January 2023. The Education Committee would like to bring a recent matter to your attention as the congregation. In respect of time, because this was not a planned agenda item, we're going to keep details brief and propose a separate meeting following worship next Sunday, February 2nd, just to learn more details and bring any questions that you might have. After learning of some struggles to gain classroom control in both pre-confirmation and the confirmation classes, a recent incident is being examined, and as a result, a parents' meeting was held. While there are parameters put in place to try to eliminate the issues, this will be an ongoing process, and we just wanted to share with the congregation from an education committee that we're committed to keep you up to date on this and as we proceed, and would love your involvement and input. We'd like to remind the congregation that there are still a need for volunteers. While we have had some great volunteers step forward, we're always in need for the success of our youth. And if there's ever a concern, please come to our education committee or any member of the council. Thank you.
Any other new business at this point that anyone would like to bring forward? Okay, that moves us on to our nominees. So if you'll go ahead and bring that slide up for me, Beth. At this point, it is with great pleasure that I announce that Jared Sanderson has volunteered to take on a nominee for president. I am willing to take a nominee for the vice president, and we are looking for any additional nominees that would like to come forward at this point. So the secretary position is a huge job, but we will help you through it. If you would be willing to come onto the executive meeting with the intent of keeping records for us and also serving as a member of the executive committee. So I will go back to the president. Are there any other nominations for president? Are there any other nominations for president? Are there any other nominations? Larry? Larry has moved that nomination cease for president. Okay, Vicki has seconded that. I am not up on my parliamentary procedure, but congratulations. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, congratulations, Jared. You don't know how bad how good that makes me feel, you guys. Whew. All right. Are there any other nominations for vice president? Are there any other nominations for vice president? And yes, I would graciously give it up if you would like it. Larry? All right, Larry has motion, that nomination ceased. May I have a second, please? Becky? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, please. All right, I open up a nominee for secretary. Would someone please take on the position for 1 year as secretary? Does a beg count? Please pray on this. Please listen to God when he moves you and says, please come on as secretary. Please come on board and let us know that you would be willing to serve in that capacity. All right, and these are 1 year terms that the three of those positions are. So let's look at the council positions. If you notice the yellow, those are people that have talked to us and said they are willing to come on at positions. I need to add 2 more to that under Stewardship and Benevolence Committee. Linda Myers has voiced interest in that position. And I had talked to Kim Johansson last week, and she said, it's too hard to be on that committee alone. I'd rather step down. But now that she has a partner, Kim is willing to continue on in her term throughout 25 for the Stewardship and Benevolence. So if you would write Kim Johansson's name back in there on the line where it says 2025, the first line, and Linda Myers into the second line there on the Stewardship and Benevolence. So just to highlight, down through that list, Vicki Rentschler was up for nomination again, and she has agreed to come on for a second term. John Duffert and Blake Bergjord have both agreed to come on and serve out the terms listed there. Kim Johansson and Linda Myers have agreed for the stewardship. Under the worship committee, Cindy has so graciously agreed to come on. I need to just explain a little bit here. Becky has served in that capacity for 4 years and done an outstanding job with it. Within her role on that committee, she organizes the sound individual. She works with the sound system. She has taken on the responsibility of making sure all our sound system equipment gets updated and fixed, and then has very much helped with the organization of the worship in itself. With addition, as you have seen listed before, I'll go back and touch on that here in a minute. I missed a page in the report. Has been instrumental in the knowledge that she has in that committee. I am asking that we leave her on for 1 more year to train Larry and Cindy. To be fair to Cindy, I don't know that she knew all of that prior to volunteering. When she said this, I said, okay, and then I didn't tell her anymore. And so it's like, to be fair to her, to kind of get her feet wet and know what else is going on, and we'll see in a year. Cindy Duffert, yep. So I'm asking that we leave Becky on for 1 more year to see where we're at the end of a year, and then in a year from now, we'll make a decision if there's a need at that point to continue on for her in that position. And then we've got the nominating committee there at the coming next. Those are those of us that are going off, then go on to the nominating committee. And then delegates to the Senate Assembly. We have reduced that number of going to the Senate this year just for the sheer cost of it. It has gotten like $175 to send a member to, correct? Yeah. To that conference, even being in Sioux Falls. And so if there is someone else, we have room for 1 more delegate to go. If you would like to go and help with the expenses, we would more than graciously sign you up to go to that delegate assembly in the last part of May, first part of June. And then Pastor serves on the Bethel board in Madison as a representative for us. So I would ask if there are any other nominees at this point for any of these positions. Any position on council. I would ask for a motion to cast a unanimous ballot for the members that I've introduced to you. Yes, I can rename them. So it would be for Vicki Rentschler for her second term, John and Blake Bergjord, Kim Johansson and Linda Myers for stewardship, Becky and Cindy Duffert for worship, and then our delegate assembly and our nominating committee. It would be those that you'll see highlighted. Okay, I need to go back. I didn't hear who had said. Okay, so Zona has made a motion for a unanimous ballot. Larry has seconded it. Any other discussion on the nominations? All right. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same side. Thank you for everyone coming on. All right. I missed a very important page. So in your booklet, if you would go back to page 4, and I apologize to everybody that I turned the page too quick and I missed it. These are the individuals on this sheet that have served in committees, have served as council members, have served as auditors, have served as treasurers and throughout our church to make the actions happen. Beth in the office. Connie Beyer-Lalonde is hours and hours of service in our treasurer's position. Our ushers that always show up. Amen to you guys. Becky and Kathy, when it comes time to count money, they are spot on keeping our records very up to date. And then as you look at the committees below, I do want to just want to recognize all those members that have helped out throughout the year. Property, all those individuals that sat on property that helped us with this roof, helped us with the roof at the parsonage, helped us with windows, helped us with little projects. Amen to all of those individuals that stepped up there and all that. A thank you goes to everybody. You wouldn't be here if you hadn't participated this year. So you guys that are sitting out there, thank you. And especially those that are on the sheet, thank you for what you have done. So, yes, whoever's clapping back there, I agree with you totally. This church would not work without everybody being on board. So that takes us to the budget for this year. So if you want to go ahead and turn to page, somebody grab me a page number. 19 in your booklet there. You can see in the fourth column over there, that's what we expended in 24. If you want to do kind of a view of what we have spent and then what we're proposing to spend. Again, noting in custodial, we put in this about $6,500 there in case our volunteers, if they are no longer able to volunteer and cover those services, that we have budgeted some amount that will cover the expenses of hiring somebody to do the work. At this point, we are, because of the salary or the income being a concern and us running in the red at this point, and other concerns that we have, we'll be maintaining the salary for pastor at the $50,500, knowing that the expenses will go up for medical and deductions and all of those things.
noticed that, right? 'Cause you have increase on other salaries, but not on the pastors. There's no COLA increase, there's no standard step increase that's taken?
As a council, we are not recommending at this point. Oh, I'm sorry, we need a microphone. I'm sorry.
Hi. I had said, I noticed that there were increases on the salaries of custodial and secretary, but no increase on the pastor's salary. Is there no accounting for COLA or standard step increase that is probably typically seen?
Okay, I want to, one thing before I respond. The reason that it looks like there is an increase for Beth is that there were items and days that did not work out for her. We had budgeted the $14,976 a year ago, and we build that in knowing that during Easter and during Lent and special occasion times of the year that there are additional hours there built into it so that if she needs to come in, that we have those funds available to cover that. So even though it looks like an increase, it is not at this point. It is funds that we had allocated or budgeted last year that we did not need, or she did not come in to earn those at that point. As far as the pastor's salary, there are Senate guidelines that are, I believe, a 5% raise that the Senate guidelines are, and at this point as a council, we had chosen not to, both from a financial standpoint and hoping for performance. Hold on, Jared would like to.
And you had also brought up the custodial. We have left that $6,500 in our budget as a line item the last several years in case we do. So that's not necessarily an increase. That's just if and when we have to run into it. Otherwise, our intention it will be zero unless we have to hire a custodian. That's why that's in there.
Thank you. You need a microphone, Larry. Hold on, please. It's right there.
The pastor did indicate to us at the last committee meeting that she was okay with the fact of not getting a raise. So that's why we left it the way it is.
I still don't feel like my question was answered, because you said there were specific, why, I understand that she was okay not getting a raise, but why was it breached that she wasn't getting a raise? I'm curious.
In addition to having concern over the budget, we also have had ongoing performance levels that we are working on and working to see improvement. So if at this,
Can you share any more what you, like when you say ongoing performance?
I think our concern is accountability, making sure that us as a council are informed of activities that she is involved in and attending, connection to us as a congregation and especially the youth of the senior high, becoming more involved at a deeper level and participating with classes there, and then just overall communication. Any other questions on that item? Can I have a microphone, please?
Is the housing built into her salary?
Everything that is associated with the house is paid for by the church. So utilities, repairs, maintenance on the parsonage. If if a appliance is to break down, we fix it. A furnace needs work, we fix it. So that's all included. All right, I'm going to keep moving down through the sheet there. If you look under administration, we've left most of those budgeted items or proposed items the same, knowing that the expenses can exceed up to the number that we have listed. Worship events, to make that's anything within the church. We cover in that. Christian education, we have everything listed there that Stephen's ministry stays about the same. So if you look under benevolence and services, the change that we've made there is we are proposing that for the Senate that we are donating $8,000. In the past, we had it down as $12,500. And so we are reducing our donation to the Senate. If I can give you a little history, if you go back to 2021 there, it's listed as $7,500. Well, what happened was all that money wasn't spent by the end of the year. So then it carried over into 22 where we upped it to $10,000, but we also had the expense from 21, so it actually we actually spent $12,500. And that number, this just then continued forward from 20, it was 10,000 budgeted, but we spent 12,000. 23, then we left it at 23,000. 24, we left it at 12,500, but then donated the 8,250. And so this next year, again with budget in mind, and knowing that our giving has decreased in the last 4 months considerably, that we are proposing $8,000 to the Senate. Now, the endowment has also donated monies to the Nicaragua and the Cameroon campaign of $1,000 a quarter or $4,000 that has also went to the Senate for their activities. So I guess I'm open for discussion there if you guys are comfortable with us going to $8,000 to the Senate, or if you'd like to see us as a council. Our thought was if we reach a point where there are additional funds that are available, either through the endowment or through generous giving, we could make a donation throughout the year in addition to that $8,000. Okay. Just wanted to let you know under the camperships, a year ago we chose to fund the camperships at $100 per child to go to camp. And we're also going to take that out of the endowment. That is an activity that fits under the education component of the endowment. And so any funds that may be needed to sponsor a child at camp would come under that category. Property is just a hope. If you look at our numbers, it feels like they are way out of whack, but not knowing what this climate and this temperature and all the things that go into buying fuel will do, it looks like it's extremely high. The benefit of this year has been the heat, that we've been warm enough that it hasn't taken a lot of fuel to run this place, let alone those of you that have sat there in the pew and froze on some mornings and complained to me about it's cold in here. I understand, and thank you for understanding that we've turned the heat down on purpose to help out. We've built in with not knowing for sure what it's going to cost us this year to just operate this building. So in addition to like the church repairs and maintenance, there again, it's one of those line items that we hope we have enough money in there in case something happens that we have to repair within this building. And then the last thing that I really want to highlight is the insurance. Our insurance has jumped from $6,200 this last year to $10,900, so it's almost $11,000. So I put $11,000 in here as a budget line item to cover the insurance on this building. We have it through Grinnell Mutual, and Hollis Sutton is the administrator of that. And his comment to me was, we were not insured at the value it would take to replace the education unit, this unit, and the parsonage. If we were to, and we have to replace them at the same level that we have them built. So they had to bid us out a brick building for the education unit at what a brick building would cost versus what we would probably build, which would be a more conservative type product. Likewise, if we were to replace the parsonage and the church, we had to increase our value to $2.7 million in case something happened that we had to replace it. And so that increased the cost on our insurance to that $11,000 level. So that's the biggest jump that you're going to see there in the budget for property. If you look at the next category right below that is capital outlay. The big expense for '24 was the parsonage roof and the windows. We put $20,000 in there as a proposal for any expenses that might come this year that would be a capital outlay item that we'd have to replace or fix. And so going clear to the bottom of that page, this budget is at $216,326, which is awfully hard even to say. But in preparation of what expenses are doing and what extremes might come in the area of repair and so on. So I will field any questions at this point that you have on the budget. If you are comfortable at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the budget. Pedro Johnson has made the motion. I need a second, please. Becky has seconded it. Any other discussion items? Kelly? I'm sorry. I'm going to have to hand you a microphone.
I guess all I'd like to say is, again, I'd like to reiterate that I don't agree with not giving a raise when the Synod recommends 5%.
Okay, at this, Jared, help me out. I have a motion on the table, right? Okay, I was going to propose if you would like to amend the motion at this point, I would entertain a motion from you to amend the budgeted that was proposed. Or okay. I'm sorry. My parliamentary procedure stuff has went way down. So is there any other discussion at this point? All right, Jen, help me out. Then okay. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor say, I need to stop once. At this point, are you comfortable doing a voice vote, or would you rather do a paper vote? All right, Carrie has called for a paper vote. Ushers, if you will grab the paper at this point. So we are going to a vote, but a paper vote. So if you vote yes, can everybody jump in out there and pass out papers? Dean, will you grab? Hold on. I'm coming right back to it, Linda. I just need to get paper handed out and pens for anybody that needs it. If you need a pen, will you please raise your hand and we'll have, okay, for those that are online, if you would like to vote on this topic and don't want to put it in the comments, if you're willing to do it publicly, put it in the comments. If you want to do it privately, please text it to one of the council members if you have their number, or so the vote that is. Yeah. Yes, I'm coming right back to it. I just want everybody to have a chance to have a piece of paper and we settle the noise down, and then I will be ready to explain what that motion is.
Okay, I have a question. Was there a second? I didn't hear one. Kelly made the motion, but was there a second?
No,
Oh, I thought you did, Kelly. Excuse me. Okay? Okay. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that. Okay.
okay, so the motion on the table is to approve the budget as presented on your piece of paper. So in the annual booklet, as the budget was proposed, if you are in favor of that, you need to vote yes. If you are not in favor of the budget as it was proposed, vote no. I have a microphone that's on back there. Whoever's got their microphone, will you make sure it's off? Does everyone have a piece of paper, first of all? Does anybody need paper? Can you, in the back, pick up papers for me? Dean, can you walk up and grab votes? Heidi, Becky, will you guys go vote, please? Heidi, Becky. Dean, you're right there by the door. Go with those three gals and count votes for me, please. I want you to count votes, please. Do we have all the votes collected? And all votes that were received on your phones or online, please, someone add those to the paper. Leanne Carr?
Probably a little bit late to the party here, but just where, out of curiosity, where did the amounts come from for the increases to, the church fuel, electricity? For example, the increase, I have a teacher voice, I'm fine.
It's not carried online though, Leon. It's not carried online if you're not.
The increases to church fuel is 181%. The increase to church electricity is 22%, which kind of makes sense to me. The increase for church repairs and maintenance is 72% increase. The increase for parsonage fuel is 125% increase. Increase in parsonage utilities is 27. That makes sense. Increase in repairs and maintenance on the parsonage is 3%.
Yep,
You know, that's probably gonna happen.
yep.
That makes sense. So I'm just curious, how are the numbers generated to make the totals that are there? And in that instance, then, if that is truly going to be that big an increase, fine. But if it's truly not going to, maybe some of those funds that are being allocated or identified as expenditures could maybe be used in another area.
Okay, thank you, Leanne, for that. I'm going to start at the bottom, going up from the bottom. Custodial. I know out of generosity, many of the supplies are bought and brought in for us. Kleenexes are bought and brought in, paper towels. A lot of things are purchased as a donation to the church. And just knowing that that there's a lot of wiggle room there in case something could happen. The parsonage repairs, we've got old appliances up there. We've got electrical and small things that are starting to come forward up there. And replacing a refrigerator or even maintenance on those continues to grow. And so, yes, that one is just a hope that we don't have anything break at the parsonage. Utilities, I don't know what utilities are going to do, so we're guessing on that one. Parsonage fuel, yes. That seems like a huge dollar amount, but again, it's been warm during the winter and not too bad during the summer, and we haven't needed to use a lot of the fuel, but if it turns extremely cold, I don't know what that's going to cost us. A church repairs and maintenance, again, is based off of the what ifs. What if something happens? What if we have a major item go out or a repair? It doesn't take long to take $2,500 of that extra dollars. If you look back in 22, we spent over $7,000 there on that item alone. Electricity. The electricity, I think we're okay on that one. But again, on the church fuel, yes, you're right there. It very easily could be less. If you look over in 22, we spent $4,800 on that, and that was 22 prices. So yes, we, in the property area, I would agree with you that there may be some wiggle room there on budget line items. Other than the fuel, I'm hoping, on all of these, I'm hoping that we don't ever reach them, but I think we have to plan for them in case, is how we came up with those.
I guess my only thought in response to all of that is a 5% increase on pastor's salary would be $2,500. And I'm thinking that we could pull that $2,500 for some of that expenditure that we're identifying for some of the other items, but possibly not. I don't know. I can't see the future either, so who knows? I mean, with the change in president and everything else, maybe all of these things are gonna go sky high and we'll be totally blown out of the water, but.
Okay, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate, right, comments received. Okay. The vote for the budget line, the motion for the budget approval was 45 yeses and 4 noes. So the budget was approved as it was presented in the booklet. So. So just closing comments, I just want to thank everybody in the last 4 years that have come forth and helped out and cleaned and did everything that you could to help out within this building and all the activities that go on. And it's been a joy to serve in this position, and I'm very anxious to hand the hammer over to Jared and let him get started with things. So thank you for coming, and I'll do the Lord's Prayer, please. If you would stand for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The coffee's on and the donuts are waiting. Come have coffee with us, please. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting, please. Richard Haugen has made the motion to adjourn. John Ewelling has seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?